Royal shocker. Prince Harry confirms what really happened at Balmoral. The truth finally comes out. Balmoral, the Queen's sanctuary, the family's most sacred ground. But what happened there wasn't what the world was told. Prince Harry has finally spoken, and his confession changes everything. Because the truth about that day is far more heartbreaking than anyone ever imagined. 1. The day the call came. It began in the early morning light of California. Harry was at home with Meghan when the phone rang, a call that would change his life forever. On the line was his father. The message was short, restrained, and formal. The Queen's health has taken a turn. Harry immediately knew it was worse than that. Within minutes, he was packing a small bag. No aides, no entourage, just Meghan helping him fold a shirt into his case, her eyes full of worry. She asked softly, "Should I come with you?" Harry paused, then said the words that broke them both. "They don't want you there." That was the first wound. He left alone, desperate to see his grandmother one last time. But the royal family had already made their plans, without him. 2. The flight of silence. Harry boarded a private jet from London to Scotland, a silent, heavy journey. No family messages, no updates. He was told there'd be cars waiting at Aberdeen Airport. But when he landed, there was no one. No escort, no familiar face. So he rented a car and began the long, lonely drive through the Scottish Highlands toward Balmoral. Halfway there, his phone lit up. Not with a message from his family, but with a news alert from the BBC. Her Majesty the Queen has died. The world knew before he did. And that was how Prince Harry found out his grandmother was gone. 3. The gates of Balmoral. When Harry arrived at Balmoral, evening had already fallen. The air was cold, and the castle's windows glowed faintly in the dusk. He walked up to the great gates, but they didn't open immediately. It was a member of staff, not family, who finally let him in. Inside, the silence was suffocating. No one came to greet him. No one spoke. He later said it felt like entering another world, one where I no longer belonged. When he asked to see his father, he was told King Charles was resting. When he asked for William, the reply was simple. Not right now. He spent that night alone, in the same castle where he'd once spent summers laughing with his grandmother as a boy. Now, it felt like a mausoleum of memories. 4. What Harry finally revealed. For months, the details of that day remained buried beneath royal protocol. But in a recent conversation, calm, reflective, and raw, Harry confirmed what many had suspected. "I found out she was gone the same way the world did, through the news." That one sentence broke years of silence. It wasn't rumor anymore. It was truth. Harry had been excluded, deliberately or not, from his grandmother's final hours. And that knowledge, he said, will stay with me for the rest of my life. He didn't accuse. He didn't lash out. But the pain in his voice said more than any headline ever could. 5. Meghan's long wait. Back in California, Meghan waited, hour after hour, for updates that never came. She wasn't allowed to join him. And for her, that distance was agony. Sources close to her later revealed she kept refreshing the news, hoping to see a photo of Harry arriving safely. But instead, she saw the announcement. The Queen was gone. She sent Harry one message that night. "I'm so sorry you're going through this alone." And he was. 6. The family divide deepens. When dawn broke over Balmoral, the family gathered for breakfast. Harry wasn't invited. It was King Charles, Camilla, William, Anne, and Edward, the core. Harry ate alone, then prepared to leave quietly. He wanted to say goodbye to his grandmother one last time, privately. He asked if he could see her before he left. The answer was polite, but final. That won't be possible. And so, without a word, he left Balmoral behind. The castle faded in his rearview mirror. And with it, the last true connection to his royal life. 7. The emotional truth. In his words, Harry didn't seek pity, only understanding. He spoke about duty, about loss, about love. "I tried to do the right thing," he said softly. "But sometimes, in this family, doing the right thing means being left out." Those words captured something deeper. The heartbreak of a grandson who adored his grandmother, yet stood outside the gates of tradition when she took her final breath. He later reflected, "Balmoral was her home. And for me, it became the place I realized how far away I'd truly gone." 8. The meaning of Balmoral. To most, Balmoral is a royal estate. But to the Windsors, it's a symbol of peace, family, and escape. It's where the Queen laughed freely. Where Diana once found refuge, and heartbreak. For Harry, it had been a second home. And now, it was the site of his deepest loss. He said that when he walked out that gate for the last time. He whispered, "Goodbye, Granny," under his breath. No cameras. No ceremony. Just the sound of the wind in the pines. 9. The truth finally comes out. So what really happened at Balmoral? The truth, as Harry confirmed, wasn't scandal, it was sorrow. He wasn't called in time. He wasn't included. And when he arrived, he was treated not as a son or a grandson, but as an outsider. He summed it up simply. I loved her deeply. I only wish I'd had the chance to say goodbye. 10. Closing reflection. The world will remember Balmoral as the place where the longest reigning monarch took her final breath. But for Prince Harry, it's the place where the final thread connecting him to his royal past was cut. The truth has finally come out. And it's not about anger, or rebellion, or blame. It's about love lost in the silence of tradition. And as Harry moves forward, not as a prince, but as a man, a husband, a father, the memory of Balmoral will always remain. Not as a palace of power, but as the quiet place where he learned the hardest royal truth of all. Sometimes, even love isn't enough to open the gates.